Alright guys, today we are making a New Orleans style roast beef. So we're going to start off with 1 tablespoon each of the following. Got garlic powder, onion powder, and Italian seasoning. And we're just going to add this all on the tops and sides. Because the heat's really going to mix things very well for us, so we don't really need to really rub anything in right now. So we also have 1 tablespoon of steak seasoning. And this is a McCormick blend. Alright, I have 2 to 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire. And we're going to kind of drizzle that, let it just run down the sides. Okay to be a little messy. Now you may want to divert from this, but I don't see any problem with it. I'm going to have 1 tablespoon of brown sugar and of molasses. And of course, that is carbs. But between the brown sugar and the molasses, it's only 20 carbs of the entire roast, and that's probably about 10 servings. So that ends up being about 2 carbs per serving. So if you have issue with it, that's fine. Replace that with 2 tablespoons of stevia. But I think the flavor really justifies it. Alright guys, I got 2 more ingredients, and that's really going to be to taste. We got pepper. I'm going to put a fair amount on here. It's really just a taste, so that's up to you. And I don't really have much of a salt taste, so... And the Worcestershire is pretty heavy on salt all by itself. Alright. This is all being built on a piece of heavy-duty aluminum foil, and I'd recommend you use that. We're going to create kind of an envelope out of it. It's going to make noise while I'm working with this. I'm going to try and talk before I mess with it. So I've got another piece of aluminum foil, and I'm going to kind of crimp the edges together to make it into basically a large envelope that we're going to cook in. Alright, I'm going to start on this side because I got a little bit more of the Worcestershire and I don't want it to run off, so I'm going to focus on that one first. Alright guys, I'm just going to roll up these corners. You don't need to do that, but part of the reason I'm doing it is because I'm actually putting this in my air fryer. I don't need to heat up the whole house. Now if you have a regular oven, that's fine. You can put it on 325, and I'm going to put this for about 2 hours. And it's going to be a low and slow, but it's not going to be allowed to burn because it's sealed inside of here. So this is going to kind of puff up like a balloon a little bit. And I want it to. I want there to be kind of a natural cycle of steam that really kind of circulates all those flavors. So, alright, in my air fryer for about 2 hours, or in your oven for about 2 hours. After that, just to give you a little preview of what we're doing next, you're going to then let it sit for 2 hours and kind of just let it self-cool. It's continue the cooking process, really. But, alright guys, well, I'll see y'all in about 2 hours. Alright guys, it's been 2 hours, and our roast beef is, well, sort of ready. It's fully cooked, but I let it set for about 2 hours to let it cool down. I don't want to open it up right now because I don't want to lose all that moisture. I'm going to let that continue to work and work its way back into the meat. So, I did say 2 hours. Now, technically in the past, I've let it sit for 8 or 9 hours, and that's because I was sleeping. I will sometimes make this at nighttime, and then take it out right before I go to bed, and then when I get up, it's totally fine. Everything inside of here is fully cooked. There's nothing raw, there's no bacteria, there's nothing, and it's completely sealed. So, there'd be no problem there. So, that's an option for you. Well, anyway, in about 2 hours, I'm going to come up and I'm going to open one of these ends very carefully. It's still going to be a little bit hot, but that's going to be alright. And I'm going to basically drain out what's going to become our gravy. So, we'll work on that then. Alright guys, I'll see you in about 2 hours. Alright guys, we got our roast beef. It cooked for about 2 hours, and it's been sitting for a few hours. I know I had said 2, I kind of got wrapped up in something, so it was about 3 hours. but we're just going to open this up. We use a small hole to kind of strain the juices out. And that's what's going to make our gravy. And the smell is amazing. All right, there's still some juice in there, but I'm going to get to that a little bit later. Make sure and point this up. There you go, that's our roast beef, and yeah, we got some more juice in there. So, what I'm going to do is, we have our potential gravy here. I'm going to add 2 more tablespoons of Worcestershire. And then 1 teaspoon of the following: garlic powder, onion powder, Italian seasoning, and steak seasoning. I'm going to microwave this for about 5 minutes. Alright guys, well that's microwaving. I'm going to go cut this roast beef into slices. So I'll pause and I'll see you then. Alright guys, got a roast beef is all cut up. And I've got my gravy. Been microwaving for about 5 minutes. Got everything incorporated there. I got a little extra juice in here. That's just going to go right in. And that gravy's hot enough, that'll incorporate that real well. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to let this chill. I'm going to let this cool off. And I'm taking my roast beef. That's going to go into a freezer bag. Not a Ziploc bag, but a freezer bag. It's a little more airtight. So when you're using liquids, I prefer definitely a freezer bag. So once this gravy cools, it's going to join it in there. And they're all going to just kind of live together, at least overnight. And those flavors are going to be incredible. All right. When this is cooled down and we're ready to put this all together, I'll come back to you. All right, guys. Had a chance for our gravy to chill. And our roast beef has been sitting in the fridge for about a half hour. And we're just going to pour it in. I'll toss that around a little bit, make sure we get coverage on everything. Get all that gravy to really kind of seep into every part of this roast beef. All right, guys, so let me tell you what I'm going to put this on. I've got a po' boy, roast beef po' boy coming up. So, it's going to be keto, of course, so I've got a bread substitution. I don't want to give it away, so you got to come and check it out, all right? I'll see you in the next video.